Okay. All right, maybe we're good now. Okay. So that would be something that is do a trial run. We're just going to have to live with this flashing in and out and pretend we're in some sort of rave or something like that. So that's one thing that I would do. The next thing that I do is if you don't already have a bank account set up a new bank account specifically for your LuLaRoe. It does not have to be a business account. It just needs to be a separate account. You do not want to have your LuLaRoe money coming in and going into the account that you use for your general, your general house stuff and your personal banking. Just have one set up separately. There's no negative to a business account, but in order for you to set up a business account, they'll require that you give them your employee, your EIN, and sometimes they ask for your paperwork, so the sole proprietor or the LLC paperwork. So they have additional requirements in terms of getting the bank account, but there's no real, and they have, some banks have perks if you get a business account, but there's no negative to getting a second personal account for this. You should check with your local state chamber of commerce to figure out if they require you to have a business bank account. You do need an EIN if you want to get a business bank account set up. Unless if you're planning on hiring any employees, you would want one. Yes, you can do that. You can, Holly, you can definitely set up, and I also love the 49ers. Well, I did. But you can also, you can set up an account and just have it be separate for your business, but it doesn't have to be called, it doesn't have to be a business account in accordance with the bank. So you just have a second checking account. It's fine. Syra did that. She had a second checking account. We decided, no, it doesn't. So we decided that we wanted to go into business together, so we changed it later on. It was no big deal. It does not script the onboarding process. You may run into a slight problem in that. No, it's not a problem to do that. So first things first, though. I'll come back to your question about the credit card. I forget where I was going with that. Oh, yeah. So to change your bank account, they ask for a whole bunch of stuff, so it may take a long time for it to happen, but you'll still be getting your money in your old bank account until the new one becomes active, so it's not really a loss. Like, they're behind a bit now, so Syra and I, our business account has not been activated yet. That's called DBA. It's doing business as, if you do that. You can use any credit card that you want to get your inventory. I have been using my Citi American Express card because, sorry, not American, American Airlines card, because I use American Airlines a lot, and we buy so much inventory so that we've been using that and just paying it back. It's nice to have a card that you use specifically for that, just because it keeps it cleaner. But as long as you can track your expenses and you keep your receipts, you can use any credit card that you want. Which reminds me, the next thing is people have asked, should I get a business credit card? The thing to keep in mind about getting a business credit card is that in order for you to get a business credit card, you have to have an established business. And when they run your credit, they will run the credit of the business as well. And if you just started up your business, you're not going to have any credit because you just started. So it's not really going to help you. You can use any card you want, but there's no real benefit to having a business credit card versus a personal one to start with. In the long run, if you start doing a whole lot of, you can't use cash. You probably, I think you definitely have to use a credit card, or you may be able to use a check, but you cannot use cash unless, maybe you could walk in there with cash, but who really walks around with, if you walk around with $5,000 in cash, I don't even walk around with $5 in cash. So that's the one thing about the business credit card. Oh, good Lord. See, I was worried. There's so many people in this general area because it's New York City. I was like, there's going to be a lot more trolls. You could definitely use your debit card, sure, but you'd have to call your bank in advance because it is going to be a large purchase and they're probably going to flag it. So if you know that they're going to call you in the next 2 weeks or so, let's say you sent in your paperwork February 1st, so you know they're going to call you probably in the next couple of weeks, you can call your bank and let them know, and just, because some people have had trouble where LuLaRoe will call them, and when they try to do the charge, it won't go through, and they think it's a LuLaRoe issue, but it's not. It's actually your bank. To protect you, they have a limit on how many charges you can do, the size of any individual charge that you can do, because most of the time, when somebody steals your card, what they're going to do is buy something $5,000, $10,000 worth. Yes, it's good to do with anything. Like, just call your bank and tell them it's coming. It can't hurt at all. Some people may have higher limits to what they can charge because they haven't set the limit, and that's fine too. Yes, you can change your routing number, but you're going to still need to have the voided check while you're on the phone with them. So it's good for you to basically, what you'd want to do is you want to scan in the check with the routing number and all that, the same kind of thing that you would ordinarily, so that when you're on the phone with them, they'll ask you for it. You can send it to them while you are on the phone with them. Otherwise, what'll end up happening is yes, they'll call you back. What'll happen then is they'll say, okay, we'll take care of it later. And then you'll send it to them, but since you'll already be onboarded, it won't be the highest priority. So better to wait to have it, lots of blocking today. Better to wait and just have the scan already. Oh, hey banker. Okay, so that's that question. Does anybody have any other questions about the initial purchase or business versus personal? I think that's pretty much, we covered everything there. All right. So the next thing is somebody asked, who was it that asked about Catherine McDonald? Wanted to hear more about developing the business itself. So we talked a little bit about bank accounts. And the next thing is, do you want to do an LLC or not? Yes, you do. And you get, can you take it out checking it? I don't know the answer to that question. I can find out for you. Alyssa, if you're there, can you make a note on that one? How can you block? I'm blocking them. You just tap their name and hit block user. So if you want to set up an LLC, you can. There's a lot of protections that come with LLCs. Somebody who knows way more about this than me, actually, I think her and her husband, she does LuLaRoe, but she also has another business. If you're in here, you can feel free to sort of like ping your name so that people know they can talk to you. You should set up a separate account. Yes, you should. You don't have to, but you should. It is not necessary. However, the reason some people do it is because you're doing business out of your home. So if you trip and fall, if one of your customers trips and falls, an LLC can offer you additional protection, but it's not really the hugest deal, especially if you do a lot of online pop-ups and don't do a lot of in-homes. If you're going to do a partnership, do we have anyone in here who are doing partnerships? Yes, use LegalZoom, or Syra has another one, Law Depot. They're cheaper than LegalZoom, and that's where we got ours. If you're going into a partnership, you definitely want to have an LLC in place, and you want to have an agreement in place, because if God forbid somebody gets hit by a bus or something happens, you want to make sure that you guys have determined already what is going to happen in the event that someone wants out. So let's say Syra and I are best friends in the whole universe. We're sisters. We've done everything together. We've lived together. We work together. We've never been apart. But we even know that we had to have something in place, because if I decide that I don't want to be a part of this anymore, we need to have something in writing that says, Legal Shield, I'll get back to about Legal Shield in a second. We have something in writing that says that if I want out, she gets to buy me out, and it'll be this cost or this percentage or whatever. Or if I get hit by a bus, God forbid, then the business goes to her. It does not split, go to my to my next of kin. So it wouldn't go to my husband or my dogs. I guess my dog's not really my next of kin, but it wouldn't go to my husband. You want to have these things in place. You also want to figure out, in terms of, sorry, my hair is growing out and it keeps going in my eye and it's driving me crazy. You want to think about things like taxes, because let's say, for example, you guys are in a partnership and all the money is coming in and you're pulling out some money and she's pulling out some money, and you don't have any sort of set you don't have any sort of set allocations that says so-and-so is going to take 50%, so-and-so is going to take 10%, whatever. How do you do taxes? And so in the end, do you just figure out, okay, well, she took out this much and I took out this much. You sort of want to figure out exactly who is putting in what and who gets to take out what, and how are the taxes going to be allocated. You can use Legal Shield. We have Legal Shield at my office. They don't write documents for you. They'll review them for you, but they won't write them. They'll do your will for you. And they write your will for you, which reminds me, I kind of need to sort that out. But they won't write the documents, and they will review up to 10 pages of documents. So an LLC is, you could probably do one in 10 pages, but you may as well just use LegalZoom, Law Depot. Law Depot, that's what we used. And it worked out really well for us. Yes, so you definitely want to have this in place if you're going into a partnership, regardless. Just because right now everybody's happy, everybody's excited. We're going into LuLaRoe. This is really great. But, if you guys have some sort of disagreement in 10 months, 12 months down the future, you want to make sure that you have something in place that clearly illustrates what you're going to do in the event of a disagreement. Because you will disagree at some point. Actually, I don't know the answer to that question, and that's been asked a whole bunch of times. Alyssa, can you make a note of that one too? This is great. I love having Alyssa here. Please tell me Alyssa is still here. Alyssa? Oh, Lord. Okay. Lighting. If you want to get lights, you can just buy umbrella lights from Amazon. You want to have 2 of them. And there's a lot of tutorials online that will show you how to do proper light. Thank you, Kelly. That show you how to do proper lighting. But you definitely need, extra insurance. Do you need extra insurance? You want to have it coming at from 2 sides. I would show you here, except I'm in a hotel room and I don't have lighting. But you want to have it come from 2 directions. If you have it come from 1 direction, then there's going to be shadows going, away from the light. So you want to have, you want to have one coming from the left, one coming from the right to make sure that everything is lit. Always have your pictures well lit, because people don't like to look at dark pictures. 5% of it, I don't know. I believe it is listed as part of the package price, because the packages were set up in advance as opposed to the ones that are custom, where they do it for you on the phone. And you actually, with all of your orders, you end up getting, you get 5% off more. Thank you very much, Meg. Whenever you place an order, you do get a discount for that. It's actually quite nice. LLC insurance system. Okay. Catherine also wanted to know our system for when shipments arrive. Well, the first thing Syra does is she calls me and says, I think they gave us the wrong order because there's a whole lot of stuff in here. And I say, nope, that's exactly what I ordered. And then she says, oh my God, you're crazy. So that happens first. And then after that happens, Syra and Aman take care of pulling all of the inventory out, and they stack it in according to size and style. And then if you're going to go with an LLC, you may as well start with one. And then, actually, you know what? I'm going to back up before I go into the how we do our shipments and stuff. Let me actually go back to an LLC. If you start if you start as a partnership, I've had a couple of questions on Dreamers where people say they want to start as a partnership and then break up later on, like maybe go their separate ways. If you think that you may want to do that, I would advise against it, because you're not going to be able to split. LuLaRoe is not going to let you split everything down the middle. I mean, you guys could always do that with your own inventory, but you won't get the same bonuses and perks. So, for example, let's say Syra and I decide to split up. The team won't split with us. One of us will get the team. Who is it? I don't know. Syra gets it. I get it. But in the end, I can't take half the team because I helped to build the team. So if you think you're going to want to build a team and you think you guys are going to split up later, it's better for you guys to just start off split up rather than start together and then split up. It'll be more problematic for you. In terms of our shipments, you want to sort everything and then tag it with the serial numbers. Again, like I said, we don't use the serial numbers on some sort of overarching system. We actually just use it because we have, sometimes we'll have 6 black solid leggings. We just want to make sure that we're giving people exactly what it is that they asked for. So it's just a unique identifier. And then once we are, let's say the black solid leggings are LG005, when we sell those, we just ship out the leggings and pull out the 005 and put it on something else. Syra started without a partner, and then I joined in. Initially, she was doing it by herself, and then we started talking about our bigger plans and how we wanted to help people and what we wanted to do, and started to get really excited about it, and so we ended up just going to a partnership. Okay, let's see, what else do we have? Cassie asks, I don't know if anyone has ever been denied for joining LLR. I really don't think so. I'm not sure that this is the application is one of those things where, it's they're testing you to see whether, like applying to college. They just need to call you to get the stuff that you need. So this application process is not so much. I'm sure there are going to be situations where they have, but there are, at the moment, I think there's 7,000 or 8,000 consultants and a couple thousand in a couple thousand in the queue. And as far as I know personally, which is not to say a lot because I don't know everyone who's ever signed on, I don't know that they've ever turned anyone away. It's not an interview. You submit your initial order. So when they call you, they just say, okay, hey, how you doing? They'll talk to you a little bit, and then they'll get your information. They'll confirm that it's correct. They'll place your order. And then, then you just wait for your order. Some of the things that you want to do in the meantime, in addition to that, is think about your business cards. Somebody asked if they were able to give out their business cards before they've onboarded. If you have friends and family who are going to want to, you'll want to have all the documents you sent them and your credit card. But if you have friends and family who want to know about your LuLaRoe, tell them about it. But design your business cards because that takes some time to get. So you want to take care of getting your business cards. Figure out your yes, you want to have your backup credit card. A couple of credit cards, and yes, you can split it over a couple of credit cards. By the way, some people have asked that. You can do that. Oh, I forget. Oh, your branding. You want to figure out what your brand is. And I want to talk a little bit about that because a lot of people have been asking, I'll come back to that, Katie. A lot of people have been asking about websites and Twitter and that kind of thing. And can they get a website that's LuLaRoe, start with 500? Can we get, I want to buy LuLaRoeKatie.com. You can't do that. And the reason you can't do that is because LuLaRoe is a trademarked name. They own the name. You are an independent consultant, and you're allowed to use it in the way in which they say that you can use it. And somebody was talking to me the other day and trying to find a way to put LuLaRoe into their URL, and I said, here's my reason for not doing that. They've asked me not to. I respect Jan. I respect the company. I respect the family, and they asked that we use their name in this manner. They ask that we use their name in a certain manner, and I do that. So if you want to try and find a way around it, you are welcome to, but I won't help you do that. The serial numbers, you may not think, you may not think you need it now, but when you have 600 or 700 pieces, believe me when I tell you, after you've oversold a few items, you will wish you had it. Syra and I hired help, and we're a partnership. It depends. If you want to just have somebody to help you a little bit with shipping, like Syra has somebody helping her, because she does, Katrina helps with the shipping and whatnot. Katrina's amazing. Everyone should have a Katrina. You will, as your business grows, you will need to hire help, and that's okay. You can go to care.com and find somebody to be a personal assistant, and they will help you with anything that you need, and it's wonderful. It's very, very helpful. It depends on who you are. Some people actually have processes. Yeah, sure, I can say about that. Some people, but let me just finish with the serial number. Some people actually have processes. I think Naomi and Elizabeth, you may want to talk to them. But Syra and I do not, so I can only say that we just have a bunch of cards with a bunch of numbers, and they're all unique, and we just assign them. We just hang them on the hangers. Our inventory is up. You can just go to our VIP groups. Syra, just look for LuLaRoe with Syra and Minessa, and you can go look at the inventory we have, and you can see how our tagging system is done. We do not use QuickBooks. Syra created a spreadsheet that is specific for. We make them up ourselves. Syra made a spreadsheet that's specific for LuLaRoe. It is magnificent. You do not need anything but that spreadsheet. You can use QuickBooks if you want, but a lot of people are using that spreadsheet, and it is not exclusive to our team. Every person who joins LuLaRoe has access to that spreadsheet because it's a very valuable tool that everyone should have access to. When we sell an item, we just put the serial number in a pile and then use it again. You'll find it on the LuLaRoe Skirts Associates page. If any of you are already consultants, it will be on the LuLaRoe Skirts Associates page. If you're not consultants, once you get your call, your sponsor will onboard you, add you to the group, and it will be in the files section of that page. So everyone who signs on with LuLaRoe has access to that spreadsheet. I think I may have missed some questions. I'm trying not to look at the questions while I'm talking to answering another one, but it's kind of tough. But now I'm looking, so feel free to ask questions now. What were some of the other things that people had to ask? Giving out the cards. Oh, back orders. Okay. fronting, shipping, back orders, and then connecting Audrey. Okay, so fronting, shipping. You probably want to have, depending on how much, I'd say $300 for shipping. You'd want to do that. Are you talking about back orders for from the warehouse, or back orders from when you are, like, I guess you're talking from the warehouse. Right now they're pretty caught up right now. I don't know what they all are, but I know that I wanted package 3 and Syra likes package 2. I'm inventory crazy. I want to get all the inventory. I want to have more to sell. The more you have to sell, the more money you can make, the more you can buy, more, 100%. I'm all about package 3. Syra's all about package 2 because she says it has better variety. So I think it's all about your personal preference. To connect Audrey. All right, so once you have gotten your call and you have access to Audrey, what you want to do is you want to add an item to your inventory. You want to talk to your sponsor and have them, and actually there's instructions on the skirts page as well, but learn how to add an inventory item to Audrey and then sell it to yourself. And the way you sell it to yourself is basically you go to the section on the left that says sale, new sale, and then you just pick that item and you say, okay, I'm going to sell myself an Amelia, or sell myself a pair of leggings, or somebody sold themselves shipping. And then you, no, they're not. Sell themselves shipping, and then you send it to yourself. So you'll put your email address in, and then you'll bill yourself $6. Then you'll pay yourself $6 with a credit card. What happens with that is that in order for the banks to be, for LuLaRoe to be able to send you money, the two banks need to talk to each other, and it's done on an individual basis. So just because I have Bank of America and I've done my connection, if you have Bank of America, your connection won't be made. So it will take 10 business days for you to get your first payment, which means that if you have a huge party today, you're not going to get your money for 10 business days from now, which means that, now you're just sitting there, hanging out, waiting for money. But if as soon as you onboard, you do this, then the handshake starts that day, which means by the time you have your pop-up, you'll already be able to connect to it, which means that you'll get your money within 2 days. And yes, they automatically take the 3% that they charge. Here's the thing, though. Actually, a lot of people ask questions about, can I use Square? Can I use PayPal? Can I use any one of the other many different ways of charging? Don't do that. First of all, when you sign the contract, you clearly say that you're going to use Audrey. But let's say Audrey's down. Okay, if Audrey's down and you have no other choice, fine. But if Audrey is up, you want to be using it for a couple of reasons. One, because you signed a contract saying you would. But two is that, yes, correct. But two is that if you want to qualify for the cruise, and because I know this question's coming, to qualify for the cruise, you have to sell 400 items in a calendar month equal to or greater than $12,000, which means that if you start on the 15th of a month and you happen to sell 400 items before the 31st or the 30th of that month, and you make $12,000, which in case, my God, I bow down to you, but if you do, you qualify. So it doesn't matter when in the month you start, but in one calendar month, you need to sell 400 items and $12,000 worth. You have to do that for 4 consecutive months. If you do that for 4 consecutive months, then you will qualify for the incentive cruise next year. So that's why you want to use Audrey, because that's how they track it. Some people have been like, oh, well, I use PayPal and then I put it in as a cash. Yeah. Kim, that honestly is insane. You are doubling the work for yourself. It is literally going to take you twice the amount of time. As your business grows, you will not have that kind of time, and you will already have set up the expectation to people that you're going to use Square, and you will regret that decision. I promise you will regret that decision. You can still do it if you want to, but then you can come to me when you regret that decision and let me know. So that takes care of that one. Yeah, I was just saying, it's good for other people to know anyway. Cheapest way to ship. You can do first class, but we do priority and we use Shipping Easy we use Square as our backup only. We use Shipping Easy to ship. We charge shipping. So that's another question that people know it doesn't have a swiper. And the 3% is the credit card charge fee. Nope, not if you use priority, because you don't need it if you use priority, because it's flat rate. Yeah, the Audrey app can take pics of cards, right? Yeah, I heard that. but there's no like swiper. The logo, you can use the logo, but you have to be careful about how you use it. Do not be manipulating the logo in such a fashion. Somebody sent me, you know, can I use this? And they'd taken out the boxes and they'd moved the L. Like, this is a logo. Think about Apple. You would not take Apple's logo, mess around with it, and then put it on a business card for yourself because it's Apple's logo and they have said you cannot use this. It's a trademark logo. So, but yeah, you can get decals and that kind of thing. You're welcome to use that. They actually have a whole bunch. There's a store. I can't remember where it is. I can post it on Dreamers, but there's a store, and that you can buy business cards and postcards and decals and a whole bunch of stuff. They have a lot of stuff on the website. It's fantastic. Thank you. I have it on the Dreamers page. I just don't know where. The Dreamers website. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, no, I'll definitely post it. You can just go to the Dreamers Facebook page after this, and I'll post it. Okay. Let's see, what else? How do you find a sponsor? Okay, so there's a couple ways to find a sponsor. If you are already talking to someone, or not already talking to someone, the first thing you want to do is make sure, no, there's no app for Droid. The first thing you need to do is make sure that you have a connection with the sponsor. It does not matter whether they're local or long distance or whatever. If you're talking to someone now and you're feeling like, ugh, I'm not really sure about them, don't go with them. If you're talking to someone now and you're like, I love this person and I connect, don't bother looking for somebody else. I mean, you can interview other people if you want to. And mark my words, it is an interview. You are interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you, because you don't want to go with the first sponsor that you talk to if there's no connection. You need to make sure that the sponsor that you're with is going to provide you with the tools and resources that you personally need. And not everybody needs the same tools and resources. But whatever it is that you personally need, like for example, if you need someone who can talk on the phone with you like all the time, then Syra and I would not be good sponsors for you, because Syra and I just don't do the phone. But if you need someone who is available to you via IM all the time, yeah, we can do that. If you need someone who can help you with packaging and making sure that your packages are fantastic, Syra and I, that's something we struggle with. But Alicia is amazing, so I think you really need to figure out what it is that's important to you personally. You may also want to think about what your why is. Like, is your why something that you want to make sure that your sponsor understands? Some people are stay-at-home moms, and they want their sponsor to also be a stay-at-home mom, because they want someone who understands that, stay-at-home mom is it's hard work. And, how do you balance dealing with the children and homeschooling and all the things that you may do as a stay-at-home mom that I may not understand, because I'm not a stay-at-home mom. I'm not even a mother. So I would not necessarily understand. So make sure that there's that connection. Make sure also that they know what they're talking about. Make sure that they know what they're talking about, like that if you ask them questions, they are willing to answer you and that you trust their answers. The localness of the sponsor is only important if you personally feel like, I'll talk about tax in a second, is only important if you feel like having someone local to you is something you need, if you need that face-to-face interaction. And that's okay if that's something you need. But if it's not something that you need, then focus more on what they can offer you, or in terms of your other needs. If you are not talking to anybody at all right now and you just are looking for a sponsor, because a lot of people are signing up with LuLaRoe without, they're going online and they're then calling customer service and saying, how do I get a sponsor? You can actually talk to Syra on the Dreamers page, and she can help you find a sponsor if you want. Or you can talk to your friends who are LuLaRoe consultants and find out what their sponsor's like. But if you don't feel a connection with someone, talk to a few people, ask them questions. They should be okay with knowing that you are talking to more than one sponsor to see who's best for you. Yep, that's another reason. Just for taxes. I had something else, Drat, that I was thinking when I was talking about sponsors and what's really important. What would you do if after you get going your sponsor, if your sponsor quits, you go up to their upline? Yeah, no, you absolutely can't. Block user. You go to their upline, so you don't disappear into the void if your sponsor quits. For taxes, you'll want to talk to your CPA about that. It really depends on your personal tax bracket. Syra and I put aside 35%. You can also, the IRS, if you just do a search for IRS tax brackets, they have a nice chart where you can basically calculate, okay, well, this is what I make in my day job. If you have a second job, this is what my husband makes, and we file jointly, so with LuLaRoe, we're going to make X. So you can You can calculate what it is you'll need to put aside. Sarah and I put aside about 35%. There was such an important question I had about sponsors. The thing I wanted to say about sponsors, and I have completely forgotten. That's fine. It'll come to me later. Periscope, YouTube channel. Okay, I think business manager. Oh, yeah. A quarterly. We pay our taxes quarterly. Because what you really don't want to have, you cannot change sponsors. I mean, once you have signed on, once you received, I remember what I was going to talk about. I remember. Once you have signed on, you've got your call, you cannot change sponsors. And also, here's the thing. And this goes back to the onboarding. It's not a necessity, but I would recommend it. If you select someone to be your sponsor, this is a big business decision. So anyone who is on this Periscope right now, I would urge you to be careful when choosing your sponsor, because this is a big, big life decision. This is not small money. This is big money. And if you think about it, I understand being excited about it. I'm so excited about LuLaRoe. I'm going to sign up with the first person I talk to. That is not a wise decision. This is your life. This is a huge business. Your whole family is going to be impacted by it. You should be thoughtful about the decision that you make. Whatever decision it is, whoever it is, don't jump in just because you're so excited you can't possibly wait. You need to be thoughtful about whoever it is that you decide to have be as your sponsor. And similarly, somebody was saying that they can't wait to onboard, and I totally get that. It's very, very exciting. But if you think about it, this is life-changing, and you're going to be doing it for a long, long time. So when you're doing it, this 2 months that you have to wait, it's not a lot of time. You can use this time. LuLaRoe likes to talk about being creators. You want to be a creator of your own destiny, which means that if something is going to take a long time, like onboarding, find things to do to make yourself successful. There are people who I have heard from who are like, oh, I'm so upset, I haven't been onboarded yet, I'm just giving up. Okay, if that's how you want to handle this situation, that's fine. That means that LuLaRoe is probably not a good business for you. You need to be someone who is who's driven, and all of you here who are on this Periscope, you're here because you want to learn, which means you are driven by default. People who want to learn tend to be very driven. So use this time to make your business better. Don't fret about how long it takes. It'll take as long as it takes. I like to talk about teething. Teething is my favorite analogy for everything. It takes a long time for your teeth to come out, and it's very painful, and it really sucks. But when it's over, you can eat steak. Before that, you just have to eat mushy baby food. But you have to wait for it to happen. All good things come to those who wait. And there is no going to any one particular sponsor or switching over or doing this is not going to get you onboarded faster. If you've picked your sponsor and you've signed on, then you just wait for your call and find a way to make your business better in the meantime. Buy your photography lights. Set up your LLC if you want one. Get your business cards. Get your bank account. That kind of thing. I would just put the money aside. You pay it quarterly, but then you get the money. It's like any tax return. You get the money back at the end of the year if you overpay. Don't worry so much about taxes. Just put aside 35%. And remember, let's talk about taxes. Let's say you buy your inventory, right? Okay, so you bought $5,000 worth of inventory. You've sold it, and now you've made $10,000. Okay, so now you have $10,000. If you spend $5,000 of that $10,000 on inventory, that means that what's left, the $5,000 that's left, is taxable income. And let's say that you now use $1,000 of that towards supplies and paying your assistant or what have you. So you spend $1,000 on all of that, on hangers and lights. Now your taxable income is $4,000. So the more money you spend on your expenses, no, that's a loan to yourself. The initial investment is a loan to yourself, unless, because you're putting it on a credit card or something. So it's not an actual, you're spending that money, you will pay it back to yourself, and that counts as a tax, a deductible expense. So if you pay, let's say you spend $5,000 of your own money, and now you're paying yourself back. First pay, it's called a loan payback. You're paying your loan back. So think about things like when you're thinking about taxes, remember that you're not getting taxed on the full amount that you make. You're getting taxed on the full amount that you make less any deductible expenses. it's still a loan. It's a loan to yourself. So let's say you have $5,000 in savings right now, right? You're going to pay yourself back. That is a loan from yourself to yourself for the business, and then you just pay back that $5,000. But make sure that you track it. Syra and I are tracking in our spreadsheet, just, okay, this is what we're paying back. $0 sale. You track the stuff you keep in Audrey as a $0 sale. You could do that. You want to talk to your CPA about how it's used, because it really depends. I know working on, you have credit card too. Any money you pay back to yourself. If you need a computer for business, buy it, but just document it. Make sure you write. Okay, I'm not going to answer that question. I would meet with the CPA right away, even if you don't have, because if there's a CPA that you're going to use, you want to, honestly, I don't, let me back up. If you know that there's a CPA you're going to want to use, talk to him. Yeah, talk to them now. They'll usually do an initial consult for free, and then it never hurts to have them get a relationship going with you from the beginning so that they understand what it is that you're doing, what is going on, how can they best help you. So you want to start talking to them early on to explain to them what your business is going to be. A CPA is a certified public accountant, so they're basically the same thing. And when I talk about an accountant or a CPA, I'm using the terms interchangeably. But I would recommend that anyone going into business for themselves have a CPA. I did all my taxes personally on, TurboTax and H&R Block before this, but now that Syra and I are doing this, I'm definitely using, we have a CPA that we use, and our team, we actually have a CPA that a lot of our team uses if they don't already have one, so he's very familiar. Do you want to make full-time income? It really depends on what it is, what kind of income you want to make. It depends. Some people want to make 1,000, some people want to make several thousand. Rachel, we talked about that actually already earlier on. You can always, but you can always message me and we can talk about it a little bit more after that. It depends on really what you want to make. You can sell about 37, you got to decide really how you want to do it and how active and aggressive you want to be in terms of your parties. We have people who are partying like constantly. They have parties all the time and they're making so much money. Syra and I can only really do 4 a week, and this week it was killer. This was an exhausting weekend. We sold 250 items in 3 days, and they're all sitting on Syra's dining table right now in big packages, and I haven't invoiced the last party because I was busy invoicing all the other parties. So, because you got to remember, it takes a lot of time. We still have stock left over. Oh my God, we have so much stock, you have no idea. And we placed an order for more. Thank you. Thank you. It was very hard work. We had a lot of help. We do it as a team. Alyssa is going to do a training. So Alyssa Parrish, she's amazing. I love her. She is actually going to do a training about how to find hostesses, how to host parties, how to run parties. She is so good at it. People are always so engaged. I don't know if you guys have seen the bingo game or the Where's Waldo game, but her and Kelly, I can never say her name, Kreutzer. They came up with these games. They're amazing. I love my Gap. So for an in-home pop-up, I don't know, we don't do in-home pop-ups, but for an online pop-up, you can actually make a lot of money and do well just with the online pop-ups. You don't actually need to have it be in-home. I don't know yet. We're actually planning it right now, but we'll make sure we post it on the Dreamers page. But she's going to do a training on all of these things, and that's going to be really, really useful for a lot of you who are waiting for your call, because this is the time for you to get to know people, to plan hosting parties later on. She's amazing. You cannot help but succeed. She is just so good. And it's really too bad that she's not here, so she's not hearing all the nice things I'm saying about her. But online parties, most of our parties have 500 or 600 people, but it doesn't mean anything if you have that many people. One of our parties had 100 people in it, and they spent, I think, what did we sell? We sold like 75 items. And the next party we did, we had 1,500 people, and we sold 30 items. It was less than 30, it was 22. It really depends on who you have. In the end, you're going to start to develop some relationships with people. They're going to start to get to know you, and you'll start seeing the same people. I have, I think, about 20 or 30 clients that come to all of our parties, and they always buy something. And so, we'll usually piece them together and ship them together to save the money on shipping. But you know, it takes a while to build your VIP base. I open all parties up. Some people want their parties to be closed, and that's fine. You do not always have to have a hostess. But you know, if their friends aren't buying, then I will open it up, and they get, if hostesses are not able to engage the guests and get them to buy things, then I feel like we need to help it along a little bit. So I will broadcast it sort of pretty much everywhere to sell it. And no, you probably don't want to do, you can do that, but have it be secret, because you can't technically have a VIP page until you onboard. And I want to answer that question about hostess. You do not need to have a hostess. Syra and I are actually going to have a party in 2 to 3 weeks on our VIP page, which is we're actually adding in an entire XL and 2XL sizes to everything. And so we're doing a curvilicious party, and it's just me and Syra doing it. No hostess. If we sell at the hostess's party, we give it away. That's the LuLaRoe way. That's what we do. You know, even though it's her party, we used her name. There is a benefit to that, by the way. Even if the hostess doesn't, like, her friends don't buy a whole lot, if you sell like 100 items at her party and other people buy them, the benefit is that if your pop-up name, Minessa and Syra pop-up, keeps showing up, there's no variety there, really. People feel encouraged, and they feel excited to be part of parties that, you know, Minessa and Syra are hosting, or like whoever, I'm just using us as an example, for other people. It shows them that that we have a lot of inventory, that we have a lot of interest. So the hostess serves more purposes than just, you know, it's great if you have people with whom you have a relationship. I love doing those more than anything. But if there is no relationship and the people aren't selling, then the second thing that you're getting out of it is the name difference. Yes, you can do that. Okay, actually that made me think of some VIP hostesses. Yes, they get the rewards. The hostess gets the rewards. It's the LuLaRoe way. And I support that, because we're using their name. Yes, you are. If you have an older policies and procedures, it says that you can't, but the newer one, you can. I haven't seen the newer one, but I've been told that you can. Alrighty, we're entering almost 10 o'clock, so, you know, I do. Leggings are always a big one, but, you know, people love free things, and they love it when you give them free things. So I would say give away leggings. There are some people who have some really, really great ideas about, you know, how to get, you know, add 10 people, put your list here of who you added. I personally, because our page is already built, it's been a long time, so I don't have the greatest ideas in the world for that, but Alyssa will. I promise you she will. In fact, I need to talk to her and find out when we're going to do this training. What else? I'll answer like one more question if anybody has one more question. Otherwise, I may have just answered everybody's question. Oh, best-selling product. Other than leggings, Irmas sell really, really well. People love their Irmas. In our party this weekend, we sold 151 pairs of leggings. Yeah, we'll announce it on Dreamers. 151 pairs of leggings and 21 Irmas. And then the others are kind of mixed. I think we would sell more if we had more sizes. I feel like I feel like I wasn't happy with our size selection, and I feel like there were people who felt like they were being left out. So we are definitely adding in more styles, more sizes to make sure. I don't know. If you ask me, Anna doesn't sell that well, but I love them, so I keep them all. Nicole's and Amelia's, they sell really well. You know what? They're basically the same thing now. They were supposed to be different. What item sells least right now? Perfects. There is no document. If you're a part of our group, I've put it on the website, on our personal Dreamers page. But I don't know if there's one just generally out there. I can see if there is, though. I don't believe you get to pick sizes. Does anybody place the order recently that they know if no, you don't get to pick sizes, because the packages are put together in advance, so you don't get to pick sizes. Alrighty, guys. That's it. I have dinner coming because I've got to eat. I haven't eaten all day. But thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, you can put them on the Dreamers page. Syra does a Periscope very, very often. And I am going to set up our YouTube page sometime tonight or tomorrow morning, and then we'll put this online. Thank you guys very, very much. I have to figure out how to turn this thing off again.